Cecil Stedman is undeniably one of the most unforgettable characters in Invincible. His morally ambiguous approach and unapologetic commitment to safeguarding the planet make him an interesting figure. However, his pragmatic worldview often conflicted with Invincible's initial idealistic perspective on life and heroism. This clash of ideologies eventually culminated in a fierce confrontation between Cecil and Mark, a battle that fundamentally changed the series' status quo. In this video, we'll delve into the epic showdown between these two characters. Ever since Invincible began working with the government, numerous disagreements have arisen between the hero and the government agent. Invincible would often defy Cecil's orders, acting according to what he believed was the greater good. Their conflict reached its peak after an attack by a villain known as Dr. Seismic. This villain has the ability to communicate with monsters that dwell deep underground and use them to assault and abduct members of the superhero community. Upon learning of this, Cecil urged Invincible to rescue the kidnapped superheroes. Mark, along with Adam Eve, arrived on the scene prepared to confront the villain. Upon their arrival, they discovered that Dr. Seismic had used one of the spider-like monsters to imprison the superheroes in webs. Invincible and Eve attempted to attack the villain, who then summoned one of the monsters. The creature immediately knocked out Eve, but she was rescued by the heroes Wolfman and Zechariah, who had managed to escape the trap. However, they too were quickly overpowered by the monsters, leaving Invincible to fight alone. Despite being outnumbered, the hero persevered. Gathering all his strength, he struck the strongest monster, impaling it with its own teeth. But in doing so, Invincible pushed himself too hard and immediately collapsed from exhaustion. Seismic, taken aback by this turn of events, declared himself the victor and imprisoned both Invincible and Adam Eve. Cecil, sensing the dire situation, resorted to using a last resort weapon. He sent in the superhero Darkwing and an army of zombified, mindless fighters known as Reanimen. Invincible was greatly surprised upon seeing them, as he was unaware that Cecil had recruited Darkwing and the creator of the Reanimen, who had previously confronted Invincible as villains. Darkwing immediately freed all the imprisoned superheroes, and a massive battle ensued underground. The army of heroes quickly organized and defeated the monsters, while Dr. Seismic, who had attempted to flee, was captured by Darkwing at the last moment. However, Darkwing was immediately attacked by Invincible, who called him a murderer, surprising the other superheroes. Invincible was also surprised by their reaction, as he believed that people were aware of Darkwing's past and the horrible crimes he had committed before he started working for the government. Cecil arrived on the scene to disrupt the confrontation and ordered Invincible to leave and discuss the matter at another time. The hero left with much displeasure. Later, he and Eve discussed the situation in private. Invincible questioned Eve whether she had heard about Darkwing's crimes in the news, and she stated she was unaware of his actions. He also remarked that the Reanimen Cecil used bore a striking resemblance to fighters created by the psychopath D.A. Sinclair, who experimented on Invincible's friend from college. He eventually put two and two together and realized that Cecil might have suppressed information about Darkwing's crimes and utilized Sinclair's unethical inventions in some form. With this realization, he headed to the Pentagon to question Cecil. At the Pentagon, while Invincible questioned Cecil, the latter tried to justify Darkwing's actions, claiming that his crimes were a result of the brutal environment he grew up in and that he deserved a chance to become a hero. When Invincible accused Darkwing of being a murderer, Cecil brought up Invincible's earlier confrontation with the villain Angstrom Levy, which ended in Angstrom's supposed death. Mark explained that his actions were in self-defense, while Darkwing's crimes were unjustifiable. Their conversation was briefly interrupted by the arrival of Sinclair, which sent Invincible into a fit of rage. Initially, Mark believed that Cecil had simply utilized Sinclair's inventions, but employing a sadistic villain for the government was unacceptable to Invincible, as Sinclair had hurt innocent people, including Mark's friends. Cecil promised to explain his reasoning and asked Invincible to follow him, leading him towards a white room. There, he explained that he sometimes has to make immoral decisions to ensure the safety of the planet, and then attacked Mark with the Reanimen, who emerged from the white room. Cecil explained that he was merely protecting himself, as he didn't want to end up like Angstrom Levy, and since Invincible was questioning his judgment, that made him an enemy of the state. Cecil, however, had underestimated Invincible's impressive strength. Mark quickly gained the upper hand against the Reaniman. As the battle intensified, the White Room's defenses failed, revealing a vast army of Reaniman ready for battle. Cecil offered Invincible a chance to surrender, but Mark proposed a different deal. Cecil should fire Darkwing and Sinclair, and he would stop questioning his actions. However, Cecil had a secret weapon, an earpiece he had given Mark earlier, which could emit a frequency harmful to Viltrumites. This betrayal infuriated Invincible even more. But Cecil launched the sound once again and explained that if Invincible attacked him and destroyed his remote, it would automatically set the earpiece to a permanent loop that could kill the hero. In a desperate attempt to escape, Mark flew away, hoping to get out of the transmitter's range. But Cecil anticipated this move and pursued him using his teleporter. Invincible, pushed to his limits, flew to the Guardians of the Globe's base for help. He collapsed before his fellow heroes, asking Robot to remove the earpiece. Cecil appeared at the scene, and Rex, unaware of his involvement, asked for his help. Mark revealed Cecil as the attacker and informed the team about his employment of former villains, leading them to question Cecil's judgment as well. He then unleashed the deadly sound again to silence Mark, but this only strengthened the team's support for Invincible. They fought against the Reaniman army, but during the confrontation, Rex accidentally destroyed Cecil's transmitter, triggering a continuous loop of the harmful sound in Invincible's ear. Mark was later overwhelmed by the Reaniman, who were capable of killing weakened Invincible. Realizing his mistake, Cecil teleported back to the Pentagon and ordered Sinclair to shut down the Reaniman, but it would take time. Upon returning to the Guardians' base, Cecil found that Invincible had defeated his army and Robot had disabled the earpiece. He then declared the issue resolved and fired Invincible from the government. But before he could leave, he was attacked by Mark, who held him by the throat. He ordered Cecil to stay away from his family and to never contact them again, warning that if he tried to recruit his younger brother, Mark wouldn't hesitate to kill him. This battle, while not as physically brutal as others in the series, stands as one of the most pivotal events in the comics. It highlighted Invincible's unwavering commitment to his principles and significantly changed the status quo of the series. Mark ceased working for the government and was free to pursue heroism on his own terms. Meanwhile, the Guardians of the Globe nearly disbanded, as key members like Robot, Monster Girl, Rex Splode, and Bulletproof left the team. Although Mark and Cecil collaborated in future comics when necessary, their relationship never fully recovered from this battle and remained tense and hostile ever since.